Welcome back to Side by Side Plays. I'm Shikuquaza.
And this is...
The Great Ace Attorney 2, Episode 4, Twisted Karma and His Last Bow.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window.
Where's his hat?
I wonder exactly
He
how
lost
many
it.
mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said.
Now our cat is yelling.
Indeed, a most bizarre
Irish.
incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the
Oh,
game
there's
is
his hat.
afoot.
8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Kazuma regaining his memory, we were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. We missed Halloween!
What? We missed All Hallows Eve? What?
Don't worry, it's All Saints Day. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive any moment. Yes! I am so glad we got here in time. Dots. Susato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew? That he was actually the mass murderer, the professor, you mean? See, I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you just say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows then. About Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia and that he's regained his memory now. Ah, there she is. Oh? Daddy? Hello, Susato. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. Hello, Mr.
It's a
Na.
weird seeing you guys dressed differently.
Hello, Mr. Naruto. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here in these monkey suits. No, not at all. It's my pleasure.
I'm also wearing a monkey suit.
I forgot your voice. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? Why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go, then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruto, guilty. Ah. Oh! You're...
The judge.
Why was I wearing these clothes in the flashback? The court will now hear trial of Ryunosuke Naruto. Your Excellency.
Hello, Judge Chikoko. How are you? It's been a long time.
Ha 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 ha. Good, you've remembered now? That really did the trick. Guilty. Ha 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 ha.
Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there's no laughing at the time.
So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. Though really I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, Eugene? Ha 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 ha!
Of course, Judge Jikoku, he must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the third visiting scholar.
Well, all these passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Ah, I knew you were jealous. Ha 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 ha.
Sorry? Ministerial status?
Yes, didn't you know? Seishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on this study tour. Guilty as charged. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Count?
He's really every bit as important as he looks.
Yes now, Naruto. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Someone else with a very similar voice.
Oh, you did?
It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago.
You know what's gonna suck?
What?
When they're both in the same room talking to each other.
About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy.
Yes. Could you tell us any more about it? But first, I have something to show you! Professor Mikotoba, I wonder, could I show you something?
Why do you seem so nervous?
I suppose because I'm a student showing something to a professor. That's always quite nerve-wracking.
Well, I'm sorry I perturbed you in that way, but anyway, I'm afraid I have nothing useful to say about that, really.
So, how is the voyage here?
Well, that's not how it's pronounced, but 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. Then I truly
We had
wondered...
rowboats back then.
Oh boy. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we follow the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience.
Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris?
We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow.
It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father.
Thanks to Seishiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to
ingratiate? Oh, actually, hold on, I want to check something real quick. Oh, they are the same age. He looked older.
Probably the beard.
Yeah, definitely the beard.
I'm sure that's why he was invited, and I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugene. You were close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back.
Oh! Oh? Wait. I'm thinking, was Professor Mikotoba's friend was the guy that died in the first case of the first game, right?
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that Kazuma's dad?
No. That's Iris's dad.
Well, he can be two people's dads.
I don't think so. They would have mentioned it during the...
They just mentioned him. Like, literally, just look at this. They're like... Oh, maybe... No, they're referring to a different person here. Sorry. That's my bad. The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he?
How did you know that? Genshin Isogi.
Genshin. A go-go, baby. You know, you knew, I presume, father?
Dots. Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even on our homeland.
But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father?
No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts.
Oh, why?
As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up, as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said, "Fuck you, Dad. You're not my real dad." I've decided I wanted to travel to Great Britain and study there.
Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death?
I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him. That's why I murdered him on the boat over there.
You what?
Tried to.
Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually.
Oh? What?
Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma has since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zeeks. Honestly, just everything about this is so confusing. Like, it's...
If I were to say something, if I can?
Is it a prediction?
No, kind of just all these little strings. They may not tie nicely together, but they do kind of correlate around one specific individual that I'm noticing. The only thing is, I don't know if this individual was here and in power, the 10 years ago, or when
You're thinking of Lord Strongheart, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't, as much as obviously he looks like a villain, but he hasn't had any impact on the story relative to all that anyway, so it's hard to say if he will be that important or if it was just a big red herring. But he's about the same age as them, though, isn't he?
I believe so.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see him again. But, I don't know. It just feels weird.
What? What? That's news to us.
So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part, then. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on a steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January, and that's the only thing I think I'm really miffed about, is that we spent so much time investigating Kazuma's death and him just not existing in the first game, and then this game almost immediately reverses that and has that be the main center point of this, with giving the most minimal and, like, it's hard to say whether that was an intentional part, like that was always planned, or something that was spur of the moment when this game was made. And the fact that it's hard to tell really annoys me, because, like, neither way is good. It doesn't lend, the story of this game does not lend itself to either of them, so it doesn't end up well.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the first game look worse in comparison.
Meaningless.
Yeah. But he didn't die. He's alive, as you knew, didn't you, Father?
In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain.
Oh my god, you...
Did I cause you to get hiccups?
Yes.
How did I cause you to get hiccups?
But he's still alive, here in London, you say. I never dared to dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now.
Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia.
What? That doesn't exist. That's an anime disease.
When we first came across him here again in London, he didn't know who either of us were.
I see.
He only regained his memory 8 days ago.
This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently.
I wonder how Kazuma's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him?
That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really.
Actually, if they're 43 and it was 16 years ago, how old would they be? 26?
Mm-hmm. Roughly around that time.
27, yeah.
It was Yujin here, Genshin, Asogi, and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you.
16 years ago, things were tough for their generation.
Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time, you know, young lady.
Yes, grandmother told me.
You went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan.
Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground.
Like, no more toxic graves.
Okay.
Very often, there is no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work.
So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prison. Not my cup of tea at all.
Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Caden, his name was? He was a good man. I sent him to hold a nuke once, and then left. It was hilarious. Yes, but then of course in our 6th year here, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. When Genshin was arrested for a series of most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say, after that trial, we were sent back to Japan.
What did you get charged with?
There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly.
Dots.
Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible.
He just picks it up, chucks it upward, Just
Wherever it lands is where I sleep.
Whichever floor it stops at is my bedroom.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long. I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here. Oh boy, more characters. Susato's-san's gone off at a run.
I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow.
Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck.
Luck? Naruto. I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her as you've obviously been have been.
Oh, no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Ha ha ha.
Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down.
Sorry? What do you mean?
Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born.
Yeah, I heard.
The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too.
Oh, yes. Susato-san hinted at something like that. It was a rather turbulent time at home. That was it?
Mm-hmm.
That's all we flashed back for?
Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man, and it was then that Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. Hey, Yujin. I know you just had a baby girl, but you wanna fuck off? You wanna fuck off halfway around the world for 16 years?
16? 10 years?
10 years.
For 10 years? Sure, why the fuck not? So that's what happened in a nutshell.
That whole conversation happened at a bar. And they were both drunk.
I bet, yeah. Traditional, like, sake, just fucking... each of them only have, like, 2 glasses in front of them, but they're fucking wasted.
That's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. Shame.
You should help try and fix that.
As a white man in my mid-40s, nah.
Seems like a lot of work.
That seems like a lot of work. I'll let the next generation do it.
And so that is a cycle that continued until the present day. The end. I completely understand, Professor.
Please, Professor was my friend Genshin. Wait. Where was I going with this? Another thing, Naruto. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you.
Stop dating my daughter.
Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you?
Well, the thing is,
I'm sorry that took so long! Wait, we know that guy. He was, one of the jurors, I think.
He was a witness that came up. Because he was with the other little boy. Wasn't he?
He wasn't in the last trial. He was either a juror or a witness. I do remember him.
Mm-hmm.
Now then, allow us to take your bags.
Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, Porter.
Of course, sir. I love it.
That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe.
Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir.
Well, I think, given the occasion, we could justify the expense.
Yes, of course.
I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruto. It's really made Father very happy, I think. I mean, it was either this or watch Sholmes clip his toenails while he sang sang folk music. So I really think I've made the better call here. Well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotoba was about to ask me something important. I sure hope this doesn't become a running trend for the rest of the series. Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. Maybe I just come from a family of people that have multiple bedrooms, but like, the idea of coming to visit someone and then not staying in their home and staying in a hotel like maybe 10 minutes away from them is so bizarre to me. Like, I can't even imagine that.
I can if you don't actually want to see them for too often.
Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. Should I look at anything in here? I mean, nobody's died yet, so...
Look at the picture!
Look at that! Yeah, the Crystal Tower, sure. Sorry, I got a headache for a second there. No, not that. Why am I pressing the wrong button? I'm so... I got a fucking wave of fucking... Not nausea, but... heady something or other.
Head rush. Almost.
But
Or
whatever.
brain fog.
Well, it...
So does Shams.
Yeah, that's what the game wants us to do, so I guess...
Oh, it does.